All right, so this is the second question from my practice test. It's a short one, right? Like it'll probably take you like 20, 30 seconds on the real exam, not the full 3 minutes that he gives you per question. So it's like one of the ones you can get out real quick. It's really just going to test your ability to, I guess, remember the order of operations within Java, um, and everything. Really, that's it, right? Because like the first thing I would always advise, like when I'm looking at these questions, is to try and find something that triggers D, but there's one line of code, right? And it's just a print statement. So like there's next to no way that D is going to be triggered. So all we really have to do here is just evaluate this sort of expression here, right? And just like last question, we're gonna use that sort of left to right principle, right? I want to evaluate whatever this is first before I start evaluating, say this guy or this plus that, right? I'm going to start from the left and progress my way over to the right. So starting on the left, we have a double casting this next expression. So like when you have something like like double something, right? And you can even say like plus other stuff, right? What this is going to do, it's going to turn the next expression into a double, right? Um, so like maybe the next expression was a three and this is the five. So what you would have here is if you ran this, I guess so to speak, right? You would have now 3.5 plus 5. Like the double's not going to affect the 5 because it's all the way over there. The double only affects the next expression, and the next expression here happened to be a 3. So it turned the 3 to a 3.0, and it didn't touch the 5, right? But of course, if you add these, you get 8.0, right? If you're doing a double plus an int, your result should also be a double, like it got promoted, right? And that'll be important just in case he gives you like a trick answer over here. But I'll go over that in a second here. What I'm saying though is whenever you see like the double casting, it's only going to affect the next expression. Now, I guess like the sort of caveat here is that the next expression has to be evaluated, right? First. Now you can't really do anything to three to evaluate it. Three is just three. But then when you look at something like 3/2, right? The double is not going to, I guess, cast this until you figure out what this is actually equal to, right? So you got to figure out what the parentheses actually holds, like what value it holds, and only then can you cast it, right? So that's going to be like our sort of order here. We're gonna evaluate this guy, and then we'll cast it to a double, all right? So getting rid of all this, right? What I got is an integer 3 divided by an integer 2. So I have integer division since both of them are integers, right? So what I get is technically 1.5, but since it's integer division, you got to get rid of all the stuff to the right of the decimal, right? Including the decimal itself. Integer division should always result in another integer unless you decide to divide by 0, and then that's its own like sort of set of problems. But here we just have 3/2, so we're gonna get 1, right? So this guy right here is 1. But then when you do double of 1, you of course get 1.0, right? Just casting this integer into a double is all. So now we have 1.0. And then using that left to right principle, I'm going to add 1.0 to whatever this evaluates to. Thankfully, we already did that, right? We already know that 3/2 integer division is just equal to 1, right? So I can just kind of put that down. So what is 1.0 plus 1? It's going to equal to 2.0. And I know it's probably kind of trivial for me to say the point oh, but you really do need to upgrade your answer to a float or I mean a double, right? Because maybe I'll show you this in a second. Like after we're done adding these two together, I'll show you what I mean. All right. So in order to add like our current total to this last guy, we got to evaluate him and see what he actually equals, right? So let's kind of like pull it up to the side here. I got 3 modulus 2 modulus 3. Now that might look intimidating at first, right? Maybe you haven't seen like modulus used twice in the same expression, or like the lack of parentheses is a little rough. But just like I guess most operations in Java, or maybe even programming in general, it's going to follow that left to right principle, right? So I have to do 3 mod 2 first, and then whatever I get out of those guys, I'm just going to mod that by 3, and then that'll be my answer, right? So let's look at 3 mod 2, right? So I got 3 modulus 2. So basically, take as many 2's as you can out of 3, and what are you left over with, right? I can take 1 2 out of 3, and I'm left over with a 1, right? So then 3 mod 2 gives you 1. So now I just need to mod that answer by 3, right? So 1 modulus 3. Ask yourself how many 3's, or I mean really, take as many 3's as you can out of 1. What are you left over with? Well, I can't actually take any 3's out of 1. It's too big, right? So I take out 0 3's out of 1, and what am I left over with? Well, I'm left with my 1 again, right? Hasn't really changed, right? So I did the modulus on these two guys. I got that 1, and then the 1 showed up back here. I had to do now 1 modulus 3, and I got this answer, right? So we're gonna say that this expression right here was equal to 1, right? So now I'm gonna do 1.0 plus 1 plus 1. Or really, I guess we already found out that these two were summed up to be 2.0, so I'll do 2.0 plus 1, right? So 2.0 plus 1 is equal to 3.0. We have to upgrade that answer, right? Instead of it being an integer, instead of it just being 3, it has to be 3.0, because imagine this, right? Maybe there was some other answer choice over here, just like just 3 by itself, right? So if you hadn't upgraded the answer before, so if you said that maybe this is just equal to 2, and you just had a 2 here, this would just be 3, right? So then you would eventually circle this answer instead of what we actually got. Like we actually got 3.0, the upgraded answer, right? So we would have selected B. But if we hadn't done that, maybe we would have selected Z and got it wrong, right? So just make sure to upgrade your answers whenever you're dealing with, like, say, an integer plus a double. And now we can go ahead and check our answer. And yes, it looks like the correct answer is B 3.0. I will see you on the next one.